Hello everyone. Guys, sorry for that echo. So are you guys able to hear me?
Yes, Sagar.
Okay, all right. And I'm sharing my screen, so I guess it's all good, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, guys. So welcome everyone to the first class. Okay, first class of the May batch, and over here we have enrolled student as well as students who are joining just to take the demo. Okay, so welcome everyone, and welcome to the enrolled student as well. And I have interacted with most of you guys while we were taking the enrollments, but then I would appreciate if you guys go ahead and introduce yourself, so you know who has onboarded along with you, what they do in the real-time enterprise, what is the expectation from this batch. Okay, so that would be a good start. And guys, this is only for 1 hour of session, so let's maintain the time flow. Okay, so we will go with first initial 5-10 minutes for a formal introduction. Then I'll walk through the course agenda, course plan, what is this all course about. And then I'll walk through about all the web portal, lab access, and all the other questions related to the infrastructure. And then I'll walk through on some Python theory and some basic stuff for the day. Okay, so this is how the agenda is. So you guys feel free to introduce yourselves.
Hi, this is Rahul Patel. I work as network engineer at NYSC, and we mostly work with Junipers and use Python and Ansible to automate our day-to-day stuff. Thanks.
Okay, so guys, when you introduce yourself, I want to understand whether you have already worked on Python or this is your first class. Okay.
Okay, I am Rajita. I am from Sri Lanka and I am undergraduate student, and I completed CC in P and CC in A, and I have basic knowledge about Python. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, hi Sagar. Hi all. So myself Sandeep. Basically, I'm from Hyderabad. So I have 10 years experience, and yeah, I have knowledge in Python and Ansible as well. So basic understanding of Python and Ansible.
Okay, great.
Hi,
So
my
anyone?
name's
Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
hi, my name's Ash Sharma. Basically a network architect. Don't really do a lot of configuration anymore, but just want to understand how to use Python for my, for other things, basically, really. So I've not very little Python experience.
Okay. Great.
Hello, Arish here. I have a basic knowledge of Python.
Okay.
Hi, it's Arun here. I'm a voice support engineer working in London. So I'm new to Python. So just a little bit knowledge about networking. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Ashwin. I'm a data network engineer. I'm completely from the traditional network background. So I'm starting my network automation journey first. I have enrolled to this course and today my first class. So I'm excited to start the Python from the scratch. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. All right. So anyone with no understanding about Python, I mean, have you ever or at least not even heard about what's Python automation? Anyone?
I'm
Yes.
Sagar. I'm new to Python, so don't know about
Okay.
Python. Yeah.
Hey
Okay.
Sagar,
Yeah,
Abhijit
me
here.
too.
Hi Sagar, this is Rahul. I'm also new in Python.
Okay.
Yeah, hi. Umesh, I'm also new to Python. We
Hey,
have
this is
basic network knowledge, but not
yeah.
about Python.
Okay.
Hey, this is Ritesh. I am very new to network automation using Python.
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
Sagar, this is Inga. I'm a network engineer and I am very new to automation and Python, so I'm trying to learn.
Okay. All right.
Hey
Great.
Sagar, Abhijit here. I'm also new to Python, so I want to start the new journey with you.
Okay.
Yep.
This is Noah from Mandaji. I'm network engineer. I'm also new to Python.
Okay. Welcome. Okay. So guys, when we say network automation, what do you think? What are we gonna automate? I mean, you can just tell me anything. I mean, even a small basic thing that you do in your enterprise. So you just tell me what all things do we do a normal thing which can be automated. Okay, it could be a traditional network, it could be the SDN network, it could be anything. But I just want to know what is your thinking about the automation.
From the traditional network, I think we can do the configuration. We
So
can do the
when you say configuration, it's a broad word, right? So what
Mhm.
configuration and what is the scope that you?
I think whatever the CLI command we execute manually, I think that can be achieved through Python script.
Yes, but what are the tasks? I just want to write some task here. It could be
Yeah,
anything
the
like
first
VLAN.
one
Yeah.
is, I think, the first one is about the running configurations, copying the backup of the devices, right? So that's the one thing.
Okay. So backup.
Yeah,
Right.
iOS upgradation part, right? We can that I think that can be achieved with the Python and Ansible, right?
Yes. Okay.
The
Some
deep-
tedious job which we do manually, we can automate it. We can take a backup, we can save it. We normally do the upgradation part, which can be also automated. What else? What else do you think we can automate?
Implementing the security policies on firewalls.
Okay, so that comes under configuration. So let me put it over here, policies. What
Can
else?
What else, like the data policies, control policies, for the example of SD-WAN, when we push the configuration from vManage to the VS devices, this is also part of the automation. So I think the control policies, data policies, so all of the things we can do from central location and push the configuration to the remote location and manage the device centrally.
Yeah.
That's also
So
part of automation.
you guys are all right at your own point and at the level you're working, but say from our college passed out. So I'll write very minor things. Okay. Say for example, VLAN configurations. Okay, you want to create 100 of VLANs on a new data center, which used to be manual work. When it comes to one device, you might feel let's do a copy paste. But if you have to do the same process on 10 or 100 of devices, then there is where you can introduce network automation. Okay, how we do that, that's another story which we will discuss in the class when we start writing script. Okay, but today I just want to point out each and everything. It could be a simple VLAN creation till your SD-WAN config push, but I want to write each and everything that can be doable. Okay, so VLAN into 100 of devices, which you can think from an automation scope. What else do you think? What we normally config, which we do it in a change window duration?
Like SNMP configuration, the CAS configuration.
Yes.
And
So
ACL,
yes.
like
Yes, SNMP, ACL,
Routing protocol.
Takas configuration.
Clas configurations. So what in a routing protocol? Let's say if someone wants to understand what exactly in routing protocol could you do some automation?
You could set up OSPF, EIGRP, BGP, IS to IS, all via
Okay,
automation.
so I'm gonna write it either with new config, okay, or the troubleshooting part. Let's say you already have something and you're doing a TS work, right? Or if you want to do some upgradation kind of thing. Let's say you want to change a router ID, or you want to change, or you want to add a network, right? If you want to add a new set of line, you can automate and you can do it, right? What else do you think we normally do it? So all these what we have written, it's more like touching the traditional networks.
You can do monitoring.
Yes, that's also a good thing. Okay, monitoring.
We can do inventory.
Sorry.
Inventory.
Okay, inventory fetch.
Hi,
Yes,
sorry.
Sagar.
Yes,
Sagar. Trip
yes,
this
go
side.
ahead.
So we can perform so-called troubleshooting as well in our data centers. We can pre-build scripts which can be initial, you can say play a role in initial troubleshooting of any outage comes, like first come to level 1 and level 2 engineers. So you can have your pre-built scripts will do the health check of your data centers and come to, show the output on the screen. Based on that, they can escalate to their level 2 or level 3 engineers. That's one thing. I have also gone further in doing some kind of API automations as well. If it's in the VMware environment, VRA, VRO, and then if it's like the REST APIs on the ACIs on the VXLANs, so you can achieve so many things using the Python. And now there's tools which are inbuilt like JSON, XMLs, so you can just play around with them.
Okay, so I'll just try to break your wording. So when you said troubleshooting L1, L2, L3, so basically those who do not have any understanding. So with that, what was meant is, let's write a network automation script to do the L1 task. Okay, L1 task in the sense, if an ISP goes down and you have 10 BGP routers and you want to go quickly into one of the box and see which ISP went down. So do you think during that P1 call or during the P1 ticket, is it feasible logging to 10 devices, see which is down, right? So there is a script which we can develop. We can pull the output. We can say we can immediately get an output saying so and so router connected to so and so ISP on so and so interface is down. Okay, and then let's do the basic inputs on our monitoring ticket or whatever, and then push it to L2 ticket or L3 ticket. Some enterprises expect these monitoring engineers or L1 engineer also raise a proactive ticket with the ISP. So all this gets counted in the SLA, and SLA is that service level agreement which your company will have with your customer. And if you fail to do this, there will be $1 million of penalty imposed to these people or these enterprises. Okay, so it might look very minor thing that L1 is doing some sort of scripting, or it's just a 5 minutes of job. But when it comes to on a wider point, it comes to the management, then there's a lot of amount involved on this. Okay, so these are few things. So do you want to do you want me to write some more things, or do you want to suggest me some more things, what is expected from an automation, network automation? Because we have written a lot of things already, but if you want to write something, you let me know. I will note it down.
Yeah, so one thing I have in my environment is we have to log into a jump server, and then from that jump server, SSH into the end boxes. So for all of the, L1, L2, L3 scripts and backups, upgrades, and everything else, it's a matter of logging into one device and then logging into the end device. So automation can basically help with speeding that up.
Yes, that's doable. Okay, guys, if I want to break down iOS upgradation, okay, what do you understand by that? What can be doable from the automation. I want to know some of the things so that other audience also get to know what are we gonna do the automation part in the iOS upgradation. Okay. So
Yeah,
what do you,
definitely.
yes.
So
Yeah. So for example, in my network, right, I have 100 devices. So one device having 15 series and one device having 16 series. I want to figure out on which devices having which iOS is running on the devices. So if the iOS is not up to the mark, it has to update based upon the automation script.
Not very, very
and
not.
Sagar, yeah,
Yes.
and Sagar, during the upgrade, it's not only the thing, you have to do certain pre-checks you can perform based on the
Yes.
script.
Yes. Yes.
Then there is the upgradation file, the system variable you can check. Once all the pre-checks are done, system variables are done, you can reload the device, change the system image, the configuration will come into play.
So
Then you can reload.
let's write the first step. For a iOS upgradation, what is the very first step?
So it's to check the iOS version against the version that you're looking at.
Yeah, that is fine. But to check the iOS version, the file has to be present. Agree?
Yes. So check the flash. Yes.
Yes. So I can write it as file transfer. So whatever, where do I get this file? So basically, you all might know, if I go to a vendor, let's consider Cisco as an example. So if I go to software.cisco.center, and let's say I'm upgrading a Nexus box or any iOS box or XE box, so each and every hardware vendor would have its own software version running on it. Okay, let's, for an example, take this as 10.x. Let's take this as 11.x. Let's take this as 16.x. Just an example. Okay, so what basically we do is we go to that particular website, we download it. Now that download don't directly happen on the boxes. Okay, it has to happen on your let's say Windows machine, or on your Linux machine, or it could be your terminal host, it could be anywhere. So from this machine, the first task would be to get it inside the flash of these boxes. Okay, so this process can be automated. You can write a script using the file transfer protocol, and the job is to copy the image. Let's say the image was 11.x. Okay, now the automation script can make sure that this is getting copied on all these iOS boxes, because that is the boxes which runs on the example which we consider 11.x, right? I don't need 11.x to be to be copied on the rest of the vendors or rest of the software version. So for that, I have a different file. I have downloaded another file, and that file I want to push to all those devices which are running on that 10.x, right? So I am selecting my devices. I'm doing a automation on copying them. Okay, copying is again something which is to be done on let's say 100 of boxes. This was a manual task earlier. We select one device, we go inside to the conf mode, and then we copy this. Okay, or we make sure there are enough space in the disk of these boxes, right? There are some checks which we do it normally. Even this is a step number 1. We did 10 steps here. We then do the MD5, right? So these are all few things which was involved with the file transfer, and now that part can be automated. Now, if I go to second point, that is where you started telling me that we need to do a boot variable change. We have to do the pre-checks. Okay, again, the pre-checks could be 20 of different commands like show run, or show IP protocol, or show IP interface brief, show CDP neighbor, multiple 10 or 15 commands, which used to be manual work. Okay, so these are all the process which is broken down just for one single topic of iOS upgradation, which can be completely automated. Okay. All right. So when it comes to the other topics like backup, it's that show run, which you normally do it and you save it. You would like to keep it for the last 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. It's up to you. You can save it. When it comes to inventory fetch, that is when, let's say in your data center, which is located in New York, you have 500 of devices and you do not know what are these devices, and your management is asking you to generate a report and tell them that what are these devices. This could be a UCS box, this could be a Dell servers, this could be the Cisco router, this could be a Juniper switches, this could be a Palo Alto firewall, right? So how do you figure it out? Let's say the company don't invest on a third party vendor. If you know there are third party vendors, you can at least get the inventory from SolarWind or HP NNMI or CA Spectrum. There are third party vendor, but let's say company don't want to invest on these things. Okay, they are asking you to create a report and you give them all the details on an Excel file. Okay, it must have what vendor it belongs to, what's the version of code it is running, whether SNMP is configured, okay, what's the uptime. So basically they want you to prepare a Excel sheet of it, right? Now it's your work to do it. Either you do it manually or you write a script, one single script, and generate a Excel. Automatic Excel would be generated with all the details. Okay, so here is where the automation is seen. So guys, anything which you want to talk from the SDN part? Because I have seen while I interacted with the few students, they asked me, when we have SDN, then why automation is required. So what is your point of view? Why do we need automation on SDN? What is SDN, by the way?
Software defined network.
Okay.
It's where you,
So
it's where your underlay and your overlay.
Its control plane or data plane is
yes.
Hey, Sagar.
Overlay.
So
Yes,
Sagar, the SDN is like your intent-based networking, and many platforms or vendors have started giving it. Like Cisco ACI is one. Like the SD-WAN is one, like the Juniper, this VMware NSX is one. So you can define or control all the policies from a centralized controller. We are seeing these controllers, or sometimes the managers in the VMware point of view. We can automate anything. We can get any output, out of that controller, and based on that output, we can perform certain actions. So it depends on your troubleshooting, configuration, anything you want from those controllers.
Okay, so let me just break it down from the architecture point of view. ACI for data center, okay, SD-WAN for WAN, wide area network, and for LAN you have SD access.
Yeah, SD.
Okay, and all these three has its own controllers, or it has its own graphical dashboard using which you can control them. These are not your CLI method, which we normally do it. It has it, but the more privilege is given to the dashboard. Okay, so ACI has its own APIC controller, SD-WAN has its own vManage controller, and SD Access has its own DNAC controller. And all these are the dashboard. When I say dashboard, the graphical interface. You open your browser, okay, and you type HTTP, and then you get access to that dashboard where you can see number of devices inside the inventory. There are multiple clients associated to this. You might have heard a lot of other devices which comes with the same scope. Let's say a simple Palo Alto firewall, or a F5 load balancer, or a Cisco Meraki, okay, or a wireless controllers, right? You might have at least worked in one of them so far, which all comes with that graphical dashboard. You go to the browser, you type HTTP and that IP of that particular appliance, and then you have a good dashboard. You don't even go to the CLI to see what interfaces are configured, what are the number of users connected to this, right? These are some web-based controllers. So SDN, which being a centralized concept, which we talk about centralized, zero touch, right? Then why automation? What is the point of automation? Let's say if I have Python script, okay, let's say I have a Python script here. So what do you expect from a SDN controllers?
So, Sagar, it's like we are doing all the work from the STN controllers only, but we are going to the GI, we are just clicking here, there, the left page, right page, up, down. But instead of that, I just need to know I have to interact with my controller, and control has its own APIs to interact with the real devices. So I can send my commands from my Python to the controller so that control can call those, some kind of REST calls would be there to the actual devices and perform certain actions.
Yes, absolutely right. See, when you have a web-based interface, it can have hundreds of menu. To go to inventory, you have to follow the on-screen method. Go here, next click here, next click here, and next click here to get that list. Let's say you are performing some checks to see what is the version running on them. Again, you have to explore that dashboard. You have to click on certain tabs. You go to the next tab. It's much better than CLI, at least for non-technical people, or some people will prefer GUI as a best, but some people will definitely prefer having CLI because it's a shortcut. They know the command, they execute, and then they get the output, right? So Python does the same thing. If you can write a script here, and the scope of the script is to see all the inventory that my controller has or my SD-WAN has. I can write a one script. The script will talk over on API calls. So we will discuss about what is API call, what are these REST-conf APIs and all in the class. Okay, but today on a wide overview, I write my script. The script will run over on the controllers, and I have the detailed list of what's in my enterprise or what's in my network. Okay, you can do it from controller, but again, as I don't remember the name, as the student said, that it's 100 of clicks which you need to go. And for one simple task, you do not want to explore 10 or multiple commands, right? You can write a script, you can generate it, whatever data is generated, you can send it to someone like the tag team or a management team or a kind of a L4 team, basically, right? So automation, when you see this automation thing, Python automation or Ansible automation, whatever, just if I say automation, you can see them on your traditional networks, okay, which consist of these access layer, distribution layer, core layers. You can also see these automation getting implemented on the SDN technology, okay, and rest of the things, the other dashboards like the Meraki dashboards or Palo Alto or Checkpoint. These are all the firewalls, okay, the F5 LTM. So this is one single piece of code, okay. Again, that piece of code is not that it's gonna run for one. You write a script and that script will be applicable for all the vendors, okay. There are some minor changes which you need to understand, okay. First, you need to understand how do you write a script, and then you should also understand what is that minor piece of code which you change, and that script can run for a Meraki or a Palo Alto or to the these access layers or the distribution layers of the boxes. Okay. So guys, any doubt? Yes, go ahead.
I just want to kind of clarify. So you're saying that automation, Python in this case, can interact with any devices, whether it'll be a controller or dashboard or whatever else, like access or distribution layer switch, right?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So you guys might be, I don't know what you guys was thinking before joining the class. Might be for some of you guys, the automation was just to automate the CLI. Okay, I am not sure, but I'm just assuming that you might be thinking automation is just to interact with CLI to take these backups or upgrade the boxes or to take the inventory, right? But then automation is also to these SDN controllers, and SDN definitely is that centralized and zero touch. Everything is available on these dashboard, but then you cannot fetch the detail or download the details on your local machine. Okay, let me give you one more example. Let's say you have SD-WAN technology in your enterprise, and the dashboard IP is this 10.0.0.1. So this is the vManage dashboard, which has everything in the sense you as an engineer has everything. But let's say there is a tag team or there is a customer who actually are on a different part of the world, different networks. They are not present in your network. How would you give the access to that particular controllers? How do you show that this device which is running on so and so has some issue? Or let's say these are the different number of devices added on that particular vManage. It's not possible. You cannot give this IP to these people, right? Because this is a IP which would run only on that particular local area network. These are on internet. Okay, so these people are somewhere else, right?
How come you couldn't tunnel with the GRE tunnel and use IPsec to be able to connect to those, and then just, be able to connect?
How many GRE tunnels would you build if the purpose is to just demonstrate the overview of a dashboard? You might get 100 of customers who wants to see the demo, but do you think you will build a GRE tunnel for everyone? Right? It's not.
No, make something else do it. So, no, you're right. No,
yeah. So basically, the point here is when the requirement is just to fetch something and give it to someone else, there is where this Python automation plays very important role. You run a script, you download that file either in an Excel sheet or a CSV file, whatever format you want, and then you can just email them. That's all. And they have the details what they are looking for. Okay. So there is where this automation comes. Okay. All right. Now, so any doubt so far? Before we talk about the tools that's required here to automate?
No.
Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit on the tools part. Okay. I know most of you guys already received the lab, which I'll demonstrate in some time. But as an overview, what do you need to get started? Okay. To get started, you need a tool where you can write your code. So there are multiple options. So one of them is Pycharm. Okay. You might have also heard about MS Visual Studio or Atom or Idle, or at least Notepad++, which you might have at least used sometime, or Sublime Text. Okay. These are all the available tools, but I don't tell you that go and start using each and every one of them. So we in the class would be using Pycharm, but if you guys already have Microsoft Visual Studio or one of the other, feel free to use it. Okay, there are multiple options and there is no such concept of best practice or something which is recommended to be used for automating or writing the automation script. You can use anything. Okay, I will be using Pycharm because I've been using this for quite a long time now, so I'm little used to it. So I'll prefer having Pycharm with me. Okay, how do you download? How do you install? It's simple concept. Just go to Google, search for Pycharm. It would be they would provide you multiple versions here. They would give you Windows version or a Linux version or a MacBook version. You download whichever you want. Let's say, for example, you downloaded Windows version, you will definitely get that exe file, and then you have to follow the on-screen method. Just install it. Okay, once you install it, that would look like something this way. This is my tool, Pycharm tool. Okay, so Pycharm community version 2021.1. So this is one tool which is where you will write your script. Okay, so all the scripts, whether you're managing a traditional environment, the access layer or distribution devices, or you're using a SDN controller to automate, This is that tool, this which will do all the automation. Okay, so one solution for your SDN plus the traditional boxes. Okay, and what else do you need? So this Pycharm, when it gets downloaded, it just download as a tool. Okay, but then this can be used by multiple people, multiple domain people, like for example, network engineers, software development, or a Java coder, or a data science guy, right? So basically Pycharm is compatible to run different types of programs like Java, C, C++, or C, or Python, right? How do I integrate my Pycharm version to Python? Because this is what I needed. I don't need C++ or Java. Those are they are used for software development. I am not into software development. I am into network automation, right? So basically I need Python. And how do I get it? Again, the same process. If you know the direct website, then make use of it, python.org. If you do not know it, then Google is your friend. Go towards Google, search for official Python, and it's 3.series, which is currently running. Download it. It's again gonna be that exe file, and then just follow the on screen, and it will be installed in the backend. Okay, you do not get any front end for this. This is something which get installed, and it's gonna be remain in the backend. Okay, so that's why I'm gonna call it as a backend, whereas the Pycharm was your front end, which you need to open for every script development. Python once installed, its job is done. Okay, until you're bored and you just thought of checking out your Python, then you go to run and just search for Python by typing it. Okay, so say for example, I'm bored now and I just want to see what all things I have. So I just went to that run and I typed, and then I can see the different Python versions, right? But otherwise, once it's installed, its job is done. Then it's only the Pycharm which you need to integrate this Python to. Okay, so how do you integrate Pycharm? As I told you, Pycharm is something which can run multiple language, right? And we don't need multiple language, we only need Python. So Python is installed, downloaded from internet, install it somewhere in the backend lying inside my operating system. Now time to integrate. I go to settings, and over here I should get some options like this. Okay, when it says no interpreter, that means your Pycharm is not able to recognize the base programming language. It could be anything, it could be Java, C++, anything, but we are interested into Python, right? So once I download Python, install it, I should get the list of my programming language. Okay, and here is where I select it for very first time, and then I just click on OK, and my work is done. So now my tool Pycharm is integrated to Python. Okay, so once the step is done, that's all. You don't have to do these steps again and again. So I assume now you're good with Pycharm and Python. What is the third step that you require in case you're writing something on your own, on your lab machine, or let's say on your staging environment? Definitely you need some boxes or where you can run the script and check whether the script is running fine or not, right? So you can make use of real device, but I don't know how many of you will have the real device. All right, these days we go with the virtualization. So I can make use of Gns3, or I can make use of EVNG, or I can make use of the PNet. I can also use the Cisco's CML, Cisco Modeling Labs. So there are multiple options. So once you have Python integrated, sorry, go ahead.
And login page.
Sorry, your voice is breaking actually. All right, okay. I think the student got disconnected. Okay. All right. So now, once you decide what's your end device is gonna be, real device or GNS or EVNG or PNet or CML, anything, Okay, just add any devices of your choice. So in our lab, I'm gonna get you the iOS, XC, some of the Linux boxes. Then we have a Juniper VXRX. We got Arista switches. Okay, and we also have ASA firewall. Okay, so when it comes to iOS, I got routers and switches, XC boxes like the CSR1 kV boxes. Okay, Linux, Juniper firewalls, Arista, and Cisco boxes. So these are something which you will be provided with. So some of you might already receive this kind of lab, or the lab which was on the GNS. It doesn't matter you have EVNG or PNet or CML. It's just that how do we write and how do we automate it, which we'll discuss class by class. So one class everything is not possible, so I'm just giving overview on this class. Next class I will also show you how do we use these things. Okay, so Pycharm, Python, the real boxes, and these are something. Once you have all these things, the next thing is to install the libraries. Again, this is kind of, you're going into the automation stuffs now. Okay, this comes later on once you have all the first three things. So let me show you. This is that step number 1, Pycharm. Okay, step number 2, which I told you, is just a backend which is already installed, and until or unless I just want to see, it will be somewhere in the backend. So that step number 2 is also done. Okay, and step number 2.a or 2.p was to integrate them. So that is also done. The third step was to get a lab. So this could be a real box or GNS or EVNG or CML, anything. Okay, so this is EVNG with me, and the backend what student have received is GNS, I guess so, right? So you can either go with GNS or EVNG or anything of CML also. Okay, it's up to you. Okay, so any doubt here when it comes to tools?
So I haven't received the EVNG files, so.
Okay, so did you receive GNS?
No.
Okay, so then you have to talk to the lab trainer and get this part done. Okay.
Okay.
So one question, right? I have a MacBook that I use. I don't have a Windows PC with me, and generally I don't tend to, my laptop slows down with everything that I do. So if we use, the lab access like on the portal itself, right? Is that an option, right? Without, using all of this on our laptop?
Yes, that's true. Okay, so this is for someone who needs to know the breakdown. Okay, but someone who has enrolled and who is looking for our remote lab, which we give as a part of the package, where you are entitled to get 300 hours of our lab access. So you get all these installed. All these are installed. There is not even a single % of thing which you need to do it. You just log into that server and get the things which is usable the real time. Okay, but there are students who need it to be on their offline laptop, right? So that is what I just gave you an overview, that what all things are required. All right, so guys, we are left with 15 minutes, and let's quickly go through the different infrastructures that we provide. That is the web portal, first thing, the lab access, okay, and all the rest of the things like the scripts or the PDFs or downloadable contents. I know you guys have already received web portal and some of you have received lab access, but then you may not be aware how do we use them, right? So what you guys need to do is, so this is our official website. You click on the login button, which is available here. Okay, those guys who have enrolled and you have received the web portal. Okay, not everyone, the others would not be able to do this. Okay, so it's so you guys have your own credentials which you need to remember. Okay, I think I forgot what was said here. Okay, guys, give me 1 second. Let me just for a second, let me just stop my sharing. Let me reset from backend. Okay, so I hope you guys can see my screen. Let me log in and let me show you that all these classes would be recorded. They will be placed here, which is a lifetime access for you guys. Okay, so you guys will be part of the real classes, as well as all the sessions are recorded, which will be put up here. Okay, so this is where your profile is located. Now this is your dashboard. So if you click here, you should see your enroll course, or whichever course you have enrolled, right? So basically this is the automation course which is be added in your dashboard. So here is where all the recordings and all other stuffs would be placed. So this is class 0, which leads to the G Drive link, where you will receive all the PDFs, the class notes, the scripts, the downloadable contents. And here is where the videos would be placed. Okay, so I also had given you around 8 hours of content to go through. I don't know how many of you have gone through this. So this was the basic Python classes. Okay, so if you get time till next class, make sure you just go through some of the recorded videos. But we are also gonna cover them in our live session. It's just that you know some basic things. Okay, so this is where the videos and all the downloadable links would be placed. Okay, this is the web portal which we normally refer to. And then coming to the lab access.
Sagar,
So for you,
sorry, before you leave, I have access and my access works to the portal, but I cannot open any video or script. I can't open anything at all. When I click, no action.
do you see this symbol tick mark? Or
No,
it's showing
it's protected. There is a lock.
Can you refresh? Can you refresh your page?
I did it.
Okay, then
So
I
many
need to
times.
check. I need to check if you have the right access or not. Okay.
Perfect. I will
If
send you my email. Yeah, later.
Yes, you once
Thank
send me. I will check it from back. Okay. Regarding the lab access. All right, give me 1 more second. I need to check the password, which I have it. Okay, log into this. So guys, you might have received some lab access details, some sort of this format. So a web URL and
You're not sharing.
all right, give me 1 second. Okay, So guys, you might have received some sort of details from our backend lab trainer, like a web access and login details, right? So this is something which you can open it on any of your browsers like Google Chrome or Mozilla or Microsoft Edge, any browser. And then it's gonna ask you for username and password. You will input this, and once you input this, you will get our lab. So these are ready-made lab. Okay, how do you use them is you open GNS. I told you the step number 3 was to have one of the remote lab. It could be Realbox or it could be emulators. So we have emulators. Okay, we have GNS3. So if I open GNS3 lab, so let's say continue. Okay, I guess I have already opened it. So this is how the lab is placed. Okay, this is like plug and play. You don't have to do it anything on your local machine. You can take this access from your office or you can do it from your personal laptop. It's all up to you. And these are all boxes. You can just start them, open the node, and also Pycharm is installed. And we have also integrated Pycharm with the required backend tool like Python for an example. So this is all been done. Okay, so you guys can start executing your script. Whatever you are trying to write, you can write them. You can then push it. So you can fetch the device, you can configure, you can play around with a lot of things here. So guys, any doubt so far? Any doubt with the lab or the web access usage?
How did you get to Pycharm application? Is it Linux box that you have within a lab?
This is a standalone installation, which we have it.
Okay, but this box itself, is it part of the, I guess, is it part of the main lab?
This is that lab, the remote lab which the trainer has given you.
Yes.
Okay. So in that lab, we have already installed GNS and Pycharm version. So this is basically a Linux as a operating system.
Okay.
All the required things are pre-installed, so you can start using them.
Okay.
So guys, any questions with the web portal usage and lab access usage? Because I received so many questions on using these things in spite giving the login access. But then guys, definitely it's gonna take 1 week at least to settle down. So don't rush or don't think that it's something which you will learn in 1 day. Okay, it will take some time to get all the detailed things to understand. Okay, and one more thing with regards to web portal is, if in case you see that protected symbol or the lock symbol, it could be because of your browser cache. So definitely try first with a refresh button. Okay, even in spite of refresh, you do not see the tick mark, then you let me know. I will check in the backend, and then might be if some access has to be given, then I can give it to you instantly. Okay, so guys, any doubt with the first class? I mean, are you guys all clear with all the things?
So Sagar, the guacamole server that you had for the lab, I guess the details will be sent, because I haven't received any of that for the remote access.
Okay, so at least 80% have received it. Okay, but yes, if you have not received it, you will get it shortly. You just put a note on that particular common group where we all are connected, and the lab trainer will get with you and he will give you the access.
Got it. And what about the Slack access? As I saw in the email that the Slack group.
We have a WhatsApp group where we put this meeting invite before the class or any sort of the informal discussions. But then when it comes to so when it comes to script sharing, or if let's say you are facing some issues and you want to share your script so that I can look into, or if you have developed some very interesting script and you want to share it, then we maintain a Slack community. Okay, so where I have added kind of lot of people have already added, but if you're missing, then I have to go and add it. Okay, so you should get an invitation from our side, and you would be the part of this.
Okay, Sagar, I believe I have an access for one of the groups probably named as some final SDN combo. Should I be going to request the account access and the lab access over here? Because I can see like the group name which you are showing is somewhat different than the one on which I have joined. Like I've been invited actually.
Oh, okay. So are you talking about Slack or WhatsApp?
No, the access actually to the web portal.
Web portal. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Can you just ping me on WhatsApp? I have to once check. Okay, I'll fix that after the class.
Because throughout the training it was okay, but at the end when you were showing things, I was like, okay, I was checking. Probably there's some problem here.
Okay.
Sure, no issues. I'll ping you.
All right. And guys, one more thing before we wind up. So we have another 5 minutes. So guys, regarding the syllabus copy or enrollment or the schedule or all those things, this is the website, okay, which says networkjourney.com and / with network automation. And over here, you can see every detail, the schedules, which is mentioned with different time zone. So it's at 10:30 p.m. IST. And CST, this is time zone. AST, this is Dubai, this is EST, and it's gonna be daily 1 hour, okay? Because this is a weekdays batch, and we don't want to keep 2-3 hours, and it's a problematic for all the working folks. So this is just 1 hour. And how do you get like, let's say if you want to enroll, so there is a WhatsApp button here, so you can click over here, or there is these where you can get into us, okay? And this is the course content which we are gonna cover. This is a 2-month of course program which happens every Monday to Thursday at 10:30 p.m. IST. Okay, so this is a detailed content. We cover Cisco Devnet, Netmico module, Ansible, Nornir, NEPAM, subprocess, some of the telnet scripting, SCAPI, Python theory. Okay, so you will expect me in the next class to discuss few things from here, like what is syntax or comment or variables or data types. We'll discuss this, and then we will move to the other modules. Okay, so we also have some projects. So projects are nothing but, let's say if I cover one module and I ask you to write a script to change the logging host for 1 or 2 devices. So you will get started on your project. You will start writing a script. So the intention of the batch is you get a lot of learnings from here. Okay, when you go out of the batch, you should write at least some of the script, not at least a complex one, at least to get some backup, to configure something, to run on the SDN controllers, to fetch some details, right? So that is what the intention is. And that's why we have a lot of project that we have put it here. Okay, this is lab topology, and these are all the generic things about why automation and all the brief details. Okay, we have 100 automation scripts which we'll discuss. You get 350 hours of lab access, the lab access which I just showed you, that you guys get along with the package. Okay, so if you have a MacBook or you are using the lab from your office and you do not have the privilege to install something, then you can make use of lab access. It's part of your package. All right, so this is where you guys can get to me. I'll also give it here. All right, okay, so I will provide you the link. So guys, we have 3 minutes. You guys let me know if you guys have any questions for me before we wind up.
By end of this course, are we good enough to take the DevNet exam?
Yes, we cover the complete DevNet syllabus.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you can definitely.
So this course is not just about Python. So it's all about the DevNet.
It's about DevNet, but more than DevNet, because DevNet doesn't cover Python in detail. Okay, so DevNet only talks about the theoretical approaches. And if you know, DevNet is your, if you talk about this paper, Cisco Devnet 200901. So this is like your multiple question answer kind of format. There is no scripting or there is no troubleshooting in your official exam. That is why we have designed this course in such a way that students get the practical knowledge also.
Okay. So apart from your training, what is your advice? I mean, how much personal time we need to spend to get practice with this Python script? Or
If you can spend 1 or 2 hours on a weekend basis, then definitely that will definitely help you to at least revise the code what we did from Monday to Thursday. Okay, so get to at least revise them. You need to have at least spend 2 hours on a weekend. So that I can advise you that would be a good thing to get most of the things from the classes. So guys, any further questions?
Yeah, can we cover a few of load balancers like F5 or basic?
See, it depends on the instances. Okay, these F5, they are heavy RAM intensive and CPU intensive boxes. Okay, and if we put them on the server, the thing is then other people may not be able to use them. So I would advise that if you are making use of a local instance, then you deploy it in on your local machine itself, and I'll guide you how do you automate these F5 boxes or any checkpoint or Palo Alto for an instance. Okay,
thanks. That would be great.
Because at the end, automation is the same. It's the same thing. It's not that you write a different, very different code for a F5 or a Palo Alto. You just need to do 10% of minor change, okay, which you get to know once we start writing or building the scripts. All right, guys. So if you have any doubt, please email me. I'll also drop my email ID because I have another class in 5 minutes to start. So I have to rush now. Okay, so my email ID is over there. And thanks everyone for joining. It was a lovely session. I hope you guys got a lot of things from the class one, at least the one who never been into the automation world or they had no clue what is about automation. So guys, that's all, and let's meet in the next class. That's tomorrow at 10:30 p.m. Okay, so have a nice day and see you everyone. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Sagar.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sagar.
You all.